Hello, everyone. I'm Adrian Alexander, Caribbean Regional Coordinator for Free the Slaves and co-chair of the Membership Committee of the Caribbean Coalition Against Trafficking in Persons. Today, we'll be interviewing representatives from the organization Beyond Borders in Haiti, and too often we hear only from the mainstream media about things that are happening in Haiti. Today, we'll be sharing from people who work there, live there, and love country, and they'll be sharing with us what's actually happening, especially in terms of anti-trafficking work in the beautiful country of Haiti. With me today, representing Beyond Borders, is Miss Yoosely Leconte and Mr. Smith Maxime. Smith actually is my, as we would say, riding partner and my co-chair of the membership committee. So let's start with Yoosely. Yoosely, tell us a bit about yourself and your role at Beyond Borders.
Thank you, Adrian, for inviting me. I am pleased to be here with you today. My name is Yoosely Leconte, and I'm an economist, planner, and data analyst. I'm currently serving as a monitoring, evaluation, learning, and accountability coordinator at Beyond Borders. Thank you.
Great. And usually, how did you come to connect with Beyond Borders? Have you been with the organization a long time? What is the connection there?
Um, well, looking back now, I would say my journey at Beyond Borders almost feels, and it almost feels meant to be. I have been working since two years in the healthcare sector when sometimes I feel a stronger desire to know more, to gain a broader perspective. With that in mind, I just started exploring new opportunities, which how I first connected to Beyond Borders. Um, Interestingly, they reached out me twice, I think, and unfortunately, I was committed to another organization. And I remember one evening, just while browsing, I come across their website and look deeper into their work. I think that the moment when I my interest was truly sparked, and 2 months later, I joined the organization, and since then, I can say is an incredible, rewarding experience.
Oh, that is lovely, Usually.
Yeah,
As you said, some things are
yeah,
meant to be. I like that you use
yeah,
that
thanks.
term.
Yeah.
So
Looking
there's a
back now, it's meant to be. Yeah.
right. And there's a joy in your smile, there's a joy in your face because you seem to be truly happy with your position there and the work
I
that you're
learned
doing with Beyond Borders.
and I learned in light, and I feel committed to this vision.
Great. So, Smith, tell us a bit about yourself and, as Usually mentioned, the vision. Tell us a bit about Beyond Borders. You are co-executive
Yeah,
director, I believe.
yeah, thank you, Adrian. It is always a pleasure to talk to you. Yes, as you said, my name is Smith Maxime. I am serving now as a co-director at Beyond Borders. Let's say that it is a long history because I started working along with Beyond Borders since 2011. At this time, I was country director for Free the Slaves. And Beyond Borders provided support to we had one partner we worked with in Haiti. It was Fondation Lumière La Vie, and that Beyond Borders was providing funding and technical support for the slaves, was providing funding and technical support to Lumière La Vie. And we said, okay, it is the time, in my recruitment as a country director, uh, Beyond Borders was part of the panel for the interview. This is the starting back. And in 2015, formally, Beyond Borders and Free the Slave decided to form a strategic partnership. At this time, I was working for both organizations. as as a leading the strategic partnership. And yes, it is the history between Free the Slave and Beyond Borders coming across. And formally when I left Free the Slaves and working only for Beyond Borders. And then it is the history, I can say, since 14 years, I'm working closely with Beyond Borders.
Oh, that is lovely. As usually said, things are meant to be, you know. So, and you mentioned you started in 2011, and that reminds me that that was just 1 year after the massive earthquake in Haiti, right? So Haiti has been through so many trials over the last hundreds of years, but even within this particular century, she has faced tremendous obstacles. And from what you're telling me, there has been an unbroken service by Beyond Borders throughout all of those tragic circumstances. But tell us a bit more about Beyond Borders. Is it a global organization? Is it indigenous to Haiti?
Beyond Borders is a US-based organization founded by David Diggs, an American, now retired, and then now working specifically and only in Haiti. The field activities are operating in Haiti since 1993. It's a long history between Beyond Borders and Haiti. Um, Beyond Borders is the mission is about helping people build social movement. Uh, because we know in society some tough challenges must be faced with all people come together. And then with getting raising awareness about the situation, taking collective action. Um, for one example, if you are talking about child servitude in Haiti, you cannot say one person, one organization can solve this problem by itself. We need to come together. That's why the mission to build social movement is so important and to tackle a critical issue. And since then, we are working in Haiti to support Haitian people to end violence against women and girls, and child servitude, promote universal education for every school-age children, and also promoting economic justice and sustainable livelihoods. Our work is centered around those four movements, and get people together to achieve those goals.
Okay, that's great. I mean, from 1993 to now, that speaks even more powerfully about the sustainability of the organization itself. That throughout the earthquake, throughout so many other challenges, that you're still here. And I know that some of that work in terms of measuring the success of Beyond Borders activities would fall to Yoosely. So Yoosely, can you give us an idea of some of the key activities in which Beyond Borders is engaged in Haiti and in which parts of the country? As I mentioned earlier, people would have heard about the unrest in Port-au-Prince, and that would have made the news for a variety of reasons. So, give us an idea of whether Beyond Borders is has its headquarters in Port-au-Prince or another place. What is the level of safety that you and your colleagues at Beyond Borders feel and experience on a daily basis as you do this important work?
So sorry, thank you, Adrian. Our headquarters is in Port-au-Prince, but we are working with strong partnership in many communities in Haiti. Our major part of work is in the Laguna Island, but we just expand our work in multiple areas in Haiti. Now we are in, I think, in 5 departments, many communes and communal section. And what we are doing is very huge in Haiti, and it's a amazing work. As Smith said, we try to help building for movement in Haiti. Um, in order to we need to create a strong partnership to continue to build what we mean to do in Haiti. So it's a huge work. It's amazing, but we need to develop more partnership in order to advance with those movements.
Great. So as you're working in the various communities and said departments, as you would refer to them, so these are not, how can I say, these are not threatened by the gun violence that is usually reported in the global mainstream media.
Yeah, this issue I think we are dealing with now. Guns are controlling more and more areas in Haiti, and our work in Port-au-Prince, we can't do a lot of what now. So our work is more based in the countryside, like Jacmel or other region in Haiti, and it's we are facing, for example, a lot of an increasing number of cases. For example, children and family of being forced to flee their house, and now being able to ensure that those children are protected from any risk of exploitation, or they can live in dignity, is really a challenge for us. And the violence, the gun arms is really affected our work in Haiti.
Okay,
If I
thanks so
can
much for
add
sharing that.
something, if
Yes,
I can
please,
add
Smith.
something,
Mhm.
Adrian, is that Haiti has 10 departments, and Port-au-Prince is located in one department, the West Department, the Western Department, and we have surely Port-au-Prince is controlled by gang, and we have another department, Artibonite, which has not a part of this department controlled by gangs. This means that the sure when something is happening at the capital of the country, everyone is talking about it. But we have another 8 departments where people are living quietly. This means that not all of Haiti is controlled by gangs currently. You can travel, I you can travel to Haiti, and then you can, or be in most part of the Haiti, you can be safe in this country. That's this to be clear about this, and not only even though in Port-au-Prince, where we have our office, we have working in Port-au-Prince in our office. We have office in Jacmel, we have in the Southeastern Department, we have office in Lagonav, where our staff, we have office also in the Central Plateau, and that means we have 4 offices across the country where our team are implementing direct activities and providing technical support to other local partners. This means that even though in Port-au-Prince we have staff working, our office is operating in Port-au-Prince. Sure, we know for some location to pay attention not to go there, but even though in Port-au-Prince there is circulation and people are living, but not in the way they should. But people are living even though in Port-au-Prince. And we have survivor network in Port-au-Prince. We are in touch with them and the community. This means we can achieve the same uh, goal, but you know, we are operating in some way as we can to keep working.
Thanks so much for clarifying that, Smith. And I think it was so important because I did not know that Haiti had 10 departments. So definitely 8 is certainly more than 2 in anybody's math, right? So you are able to do a considerable amount of work, and especially at community level, rather than looking at the urban areas alone, because I'm assuming that it's at community level that a lot of the needs really continue to manifest. And it's at community level, maybe that a lot of the children who are being exploited may be born there and sent to family members or other people in the more urban areas where the exploitation may take place. So whether it's by divine coincidence or not, this current situation would probably have created the opportunity to do much more work, more intensive work in those 8 departments, and therefore building an even stronger prevention mechanism than if a lot of the work was continuing in the urban centers solely. So thanks so much for that clarification. I think for me, that is helpful. And I know some people who fly in and out of Haiti several times a year, which means that air travel is not completely disrupted. They come in, they do missionary work, they do relief work in the aftermath of any type of disasters, and things, as you said, things flow. People are living, though not as well as they should across the country because of the activities of these armed gangs, but they certainly have not overrun, nor does it appear that they can overrun the entire country. So thanks so much for that. So that brings me to the
Currently,
question. Pardon?
go ahead.
Yeah, that brings me to the question, because you mentioned survivor networks. So tell us a bit more about what you think are the main achievements that Beyond Borders has accomplished. And I mean, there would be tons from 1993 to present, right? But if you could categorize them, so something like survivor networks and other categories, how would you rank those?
Usually you want to go first?
Yes. I can say when you look beyond the numbers that we achieved with for example, my meal lens, I can say our biggest accomplishment is the shift in people mindset and the work we are doing with the survivor, trying to put them into a network so they can grow, they can heal and advocate and support others. I can see many of them have become true advocates for trafficking, anti-trafficking, and also child labor. And I think it's important now to emphasize that we are not talking about people who haven't experienced any suffering, but there are survivors. There are people who came, who face a lot of issue in their life, and now they are standing to fight again to tackle this issue. I think for me, it's our biggest achievement.
I can add, Adrian, just to echo what Yoosely just said, the example of Survivor, how we build the network of somebody in Haiti. We started in 2012 with two survivors, with two, and as staff for them to spread the word. And now we have more than 1,500 of survivor in the network.
Wow.
This expansion leader, organize them by branches, connecting those branches together to have a network at sub-municipal level. And it is huge from 2 to 1,500. This is the not organizing them, but the leadership. Now we can say, Adrian, if you want someone to talk to as a survival leader, I can say, okay, this name, this name, this name, multiple names who can refer to you. This is one. There is a second thing we it's liberating children and exploitation. It is again a huge achievement on the past 5 years. Hundreds of children out of child servitude. Can say this is a second one. There's a third one is that clean root causes of the system. Yet we know poverty is one, and we in Laguna specifically, we have the family graduation program that enroll, the poorest in the community. and then to get them out of poverty. Now, more than 1,000 families, we can say that, we work with them over the past 10 years to get out of poverty. And it is a model we get from BRAC in Bangladesh. This is a camp tackling, working with the poorest, and then they may think that now I have the resources to take care of my children and the communities. Again, social services is a huge lack in the country, specifically in countryside. What we do is organizing community by what we call them e- education platforms in the community, where we put schools principals, teachers, local authorities, parents together, and then they can think about the need of the vulnerable, identifying children who are not going to school, to get them enrolled in school and stay in school. And when a child is liberated from child servitude, get them the protection mechanism for children in the community, specifically for the school system. It is again an achievement in only in the Laguna Island, and we have more than 13 sub-municipalities education platforms that is running, operating, and then working with the local authorities. And we have the Haiti anti-trafficking law. And what we did specifically in Nagona, we worked with the mayor office. They issue a municipal decree and the way to control movement of children. By example, now, if Laguna is an island, it is easy to get a child from Laguna to go to the mainland. The mechanism is that now, if you are going to the dock with a child, you are not the parent. Sure, you will have someone asking you where you are going with this child. This prevention mechanism, making if you are moving with a child, that is on your own, and then how there is a process to show your relationship with the child, and then to even though the parent moving away with the child, someone will say, well, we are going with the child, to make sure that it is not trapped in child services. Because most of the time, when a parent is sending a child away, it is not to be exploited. It is with a sense of this child will have a better life in the other family. And at the end of the day, it is totally different. Just this prevention mechanism, I can say this to summarize those kind of achievement, and then how we are building, not to saying that we are expanding the model, the community-based model we have is expanding around Haiti. We are working now in the Artibonite. We are in the north. We are in the Central Plateau. We just got the funding for the Kellogg Foundation and project is to expand our work to the Central Plateau now. We have a municipality that we just started the process to roll out the process of getting community engaged to prevent child trafficking.
Yeah, and I would like to add the saving and loan group that led by survivors, when they understand they need to put money together in order to thrive together. That's an interesting work that we are doing.
Yoosely, please don't leave me hanging with that one, because that sounds like amazing, amazing collaboration among survivors. Tell me a bit more about that. So it's a survivor-led savings and loan activity.
Yeah, this is an activity led by the survivors and the community. They put money together. They do some microloan together, and after they have the opportunity to learn, to have a training about business, so they put their money to create income generative activity. So when you I think for now we have almost 50 groups, and Lagonav contain more than 100 survivors that contribute in these saving and loan groups.
So this means that they don't have to face a bank where they would be asked for collateral. They are basically helping one another establish their respective businesses,
Yes,
seeing
and they
them thrive.
with an mid and low interest rate.
Okay. So there is an interest rate so that there's money that comes in to sustain the activity, but it's low so that they can still manage their fledgling businesses, see them grow while repaying the loan and still having money to cover their own personal needs and daily expenses. I think that is fantastic. Really, that is fantastic. And some of our viewers
Mhm.
may not have known about this, but if you follow our quarterly newsletter from the Caribbean Coalition Against Trafficking in Persons, usually has been kind enough to put together their quarterly activities and is usually always reference to the growth in these village savings and loan activities that are led by survivors. Thanks so much for sharing that, Yoosely Smith.
Yes, I'm gonna say that it is, we know that village saving and load groups, it is a strategy for people to put money together. But what we did strategically, specific for those who don't have the resources to save, we provide the collateral as an organization. It is an experience we are piloting to see what we can learn from it. Because in the VSLA model, we don't have external resources coming in. But what we did, we provide a collateral for those who cannot save. Because to be part of the VSLA, you should have to save. And then we provide the collateral in those saving and loans group that that will give access to the survivors to get more loans, and then they can have this money to, as you said, to invest, to go their own businesses. It is kind of an experience we are piloting. We may be ready to share when we evaluate the impact of this initiative, to say, if you want to contribute for the social reintegration of survivors, so adult survivors, providing the collateral for the loans in the VSLAs can be a strategy that may work for them.
Yeah, that sounds like really good innovation. And as it's like not everyone can participate in this standard model. Therefore, you've tweaked that standard model to ensure that those most in need, who are the survivors, can participate and can see their own individual and families grow and benefit from that. So kudos to Beyond Borders. And what I like is that you're saying that you are receiving funding. And I think that's important because it means that there are international agencies that know what is actually taking place on the ground in Haiti and are confident enough to invest money in Beyond Borders and its work there. So they clearly aren't afraid that in a heartbeat, the situation can change and the entire country could be overrun. They appear to have that confidence in the local situation such that they would invest for the growth of some of those activities. So I think that was an important learning for me as well, and I'm sure for many of our viewers.
Yeah. Yes, to say that not every donors are fleeing Haiti. Sure, sometimes people are talking about donor fatigue. Sure, for some movements in any movement in any country, sometimes you have donor fatigue. And for some aspect of Haiti, yes, you can see that. But we can say that we are grateful to have some and we have individual, we have donation, we have family foundation. We have those kind of funding coming in that can still support the work in Haiti. And we have strong, really strong supporters that still believe that there is something happening in Haiti. We can change the society, even though when we are facing difficult situation and we have the experience of facing difficult situation. Hadrian, our ancestors spent 300 years in slavery, and it is from 1494 until 1794, 12 years in slavery, and we overcome it, and we became an independent country in 1904. And when we are talking difficult situation, our ancestors knew the rust that we are facing now, and they had the resources to overcome this situation. I always said the Haitian society will find a way to get out of this situation.
That is powerful because Haiti was basically the first country in this hemisphere to revolt and successfully so against slavery. And of course, as you mentioned, becoming independent and making these strides. And despite whatever the uh, um, the perspectives may be, Haiti remains independent. It remains a country of proud, competent, and very determined people. So I think what you helped frame is that notwithstanding the various challenges that Haiti has faced, not only are its people resilient, but even some of the organizations like Beyond Borders have developed a way to maintain their sustainability, you know? So you have the confidence of donors, international donors from various parts of the world, who invest. You mentioned someone who basically established Beyond Borders and has recently retired. Um, but the work that you do speaks for itself, such that other organizations and other donors are willing to contribute. Yeah. What are some of the success stories, let's say shortly after the earthquake in 2010, where you would say that Beyond Borders was able to rebound from that? Because, as Yoosely mentioned, displacement leads to an increase in vulnerable children for exploitation. How were you able to intervene in that situation? And of course, the more recent situation of the rise in gun violence since about 2021 or thereabouts. How have you been managing that? Probably take turns and share some of those success stories.
Yeah, I can say right after the earthquake, where the mass displacement of people and this situation was that you having broken families where you have children moving around without the protection of their parents. Um, at this time, our priority was in Port-au-Prince to be part of the protection mechanism of identified children, and we identify them with the family. And since moving from working in the camp for displaced persons, and then now going to communities and to build the child protection brigades of people, involved and protect children and expanding from Port-au-Prince to go to Lagonave, go to the southeast, and with the movements, and now spreading around the country with this process of engaging communities, local authorities, and then so prevent child domestic servitude. And not to repeat ourselves, the success story is the meaningful engagement of survivors. And now how they take the lead now to speak for themselves. And then to say that the experience I went through, this is not worth for a child to go and through it. This is the kind of the response you get when people with lived experience went through a situation now. Now they are the leader, raising awareness about this situation, organize, mobilize the communities to say that no, no more, no more. We cannot keep exploiting children this way.
Uh,
Yes, Yoosely?
yeah, I would like to say also we have, as Smith said, we have a strong commitment. Um, the survivor network are very committed and work tireless to advance these causes.
I think that is an aspect of the unique work that you're doing there in Haiti, which the rest of the Caribbean needs to follow. That we view survivors, even as we view children, um, not only as beneficiaries of services, but we must view them as individuals who are able to articulate their needs, or at the very least, who are able to articulate how effective other people's interventions are towards them, so where we have, in the majority of cases, government officials, technocrats, maybe a couple NGOs and so forth, at the table developing national plans of action and coming up with programs and so forth, without meaningfully engaging youth and children and survivors in the design, the implementation, and the evaluation of those. Haiti sounds like you've been doing this at grassroots level. You've been doing this and being able to not get the buy-in from, but really um, to build the capacity of survivors so that they lead this process, and therefore any of the things that flow from the process are survivor-centered and survivor-informed, which puts it in a whole different category in terms of effectiveness and meaningfulness, than if it's developed by somebody and pushed on to survivors without their respectful engagement. I think that, as you said, that definitely sets the work apart. Yeah, does set the work apart.
I said that at the beginning that we have the mission to help people build social movement. This is key. When you are building social movement, I don't come to provide the services as an NGO. We are together in a community. Our staff is part of the community, and we are together doing the process to design the social mapping, going through the ESK conversation. We are in a group talking together. We have a process to raise awareness, and we organize together, and we take collective action. It is that allows us to operate even though in difficult situation, because you have people in the communities. They are aware of the problem, they are organized, they are mobilized. If you have a staff who cannot travel to go to the community, activities is still happening because you have the people, they are the actor of there to solve their own problem. It is they are the actor to solve their own problem, and you are in a process to support them and sure to prepare to leave this community to go somewhere else where other people may need you. But if that you come and I come to solve a problem for the people, this means they are not buying, they are not part of it. And then when you left, everything's stopped. It is kind of different kind of mindset in the way we engage communities and the way we organize them and mobilize community members. It is key for to sustain for the long term the impact of the work we are doing.
Yeah, that definitely is a huge difference. And we see that. We see it across the Caribbean. We see it in other parts of the world where people step into a space without the required cultural respect and being informed as to the different dynamics. They come with good hearts many times, wanting to do good work, but assuming that they know better than the people living in the situation, because those people are living in that situation, whereas they're living in what they may perceive to be superior situations, right? But whatever they're coming with may have been tried many times before without success. And by not engaging the people in the community, they are not aware of that. They're not aware of why things did not succeed, why things were not sustainable, so that by sharing that knowledge and working together, they could come up with something that's more suitable to the needs of the people and which would be sustained. And I think so, it really is a lesson for all of us to learn in the humanitarian field and those in the development field. Learn from those who you wish to serve, because in that way you can improve. And again, you're showing dignity and respect to the people who you are approaching to say, we want to come alongside you to help you. Yeah. But as we close, give us an idea, please, of some of the key areas in which you are either currently or soon will be initiating some activities, and where you're looking to perhaps gain some collaboration from external organizations, whether they're external to Haiti or within Haiti, but outside of your current network.
I think first thing we hope that we will have peace anytime soon and we can engage more with the national government because now currently we are a little bit away from engaging from the local from the for the national government. And because in the past we were pushing for the full implementation of the anti-trafficking law. Then we were engaged in training law enforcement, judges, lawyers, and then they can know about the law and then supporting victims in the judiciary system. We need to be back to this process because we need a strong law enforcement process of the anti-trafficking law. Engaging with other organizations in this, it is important for us. And again, we need more organization to be engaged in the community engagement process movement, okay, the movement. This means having more resources to support more partners because we know we cannot be everywhere in Haiti, but we with a strong network of local organization or international organization, we can provide the technical support and then they can see our model and then they can so adapt to the specific situation and do a replication of this. For us, it is a strategy because we want to go at scale, and this is important. One, we want our survival to be more connected to what is doing in the Caribbean, and we know there is the language barrier between, Haitian women or Haitian men speaking Haitian Creole and to the rest of the Caribbean. But this is a key priority for us. And I told my colleague every time, we are doing a lot with survivors in Haiti, and all the countries can learn from what we are currently doing, build, building this connection between the survivors in Haiti and the rest of the Caribbean and the anti-trafficking movement. That is a key. For any kind of partnership, we want to go to this direction to overcome those challenges.
And Smith, this May, one of the Survivor Network, for the first time, they will launch a social media campaign fundraising in order to support their various projects. So I invite you, Adrian, to support to support them to share these campaigns when it goes live.
When is it in May? Do you have any specific dates in May
No,
for
not
the
yet.
not yet?
It
Okay.
will be
Will we
in
have
May.
a right, good. So as soon as you get some more details, we can always add that to our newsletter and encourage people to support and participate. And of course, social media is all over the Caribbean or in so many different languages and so on. So and Smith, what you said in terms of connecting the survivors, I think beyond the work of the survivors, which is phenomenal that Beyond Borders is doing, I think there's a lot of value in also connecting the other work that you're doing. Things like the community engagement, things like the VSLA, the Village Savings and Loan, and adapting that for survivors. I think those highlights that you shared today, you and Yoosely, are things which most of our Caribbean countries may not have as a feature in their anti-trafficking work. And yes, it is important to connect with the national governments. And yes, it is important to ensure that those major institutions, such as the law enforcement infrastructure, the judiciary, and those related systems, from a top-down approach, can receive capacity building. But it sounds like you're not waiting for that time to come. You are taking the same training, the same passion into the communities where there are local variants, let's say, of those offices. You have law enforcement officers at local level. You have people exercising some sort of judicial function at the local level. So you are working there and continuing to press in, which I think is a lesson that we all need to learn as well. across the region. It's not just about national or federal, however it may be termed in each territory, getting that buy-in. It's really buy-in from the people on the ground, the people who serve in the local communities, the people who are from the local communities, that in the absence of an order coming from up top and making its way slowly like molasses running uphill until it reaches them in the local community, you're there empowering them. And they, because they live there and they care about the people, they're more quick to implement and to really support the work than if it's just an order that they're getting from somebody who's miles away and far removed from the situation. So I see it in a very hopeful perspective in that regard. It may not be the best of news, but you've taken lemons and you've made delicious lemonade with it, and you continue to do that. And I think that in itself is inspiring for us across the region to learn and to know. Yeah. So, any closing comments?
Totally, as human being in our evolution, we face challenges, and as society, we face challenges. Europe faced the World War II, and now they are flourishing. And I can say totally Haiti now is facing a tough situation, and sure, Haitian people will flourish. And with the contribution of every member of the society, we share the hope that we will be in this situation that we say that we are living in a safe, our wellness is a priority.
Awesome. Yoosely, last words from you?
Um, for me, as long as there are anti-trafficking problem issues, so the work can be done. So we need a strong partnership. We need person who are very committed, so that we can advance in this vision.
Great. And as you said earlier, usually one of the main achievements that you've seen is how people's attitudes have changed, have shifted. Yeah. And I think that's where things start, where we are crushing cultural norms, which are only support pillars for exploitation of our children and vulnerable people. And people can see the truth, that what they once supported out of ignorance is not something that they can continue to defend. And having the survivors leading the charge and speaking out and saying, what happened to me should not happen to my child or my grandchildren. And people acknowledging that while they made it through, it wasn't the best situation to have had as a norm in their community or in the society. So I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I would add, so Gen Division, Gen Beyond Borders support our work in Haiti.
Great, great. So thank you so very kindly to Yoosely Leconte, Head of Monitoring, Evaluation, Accountability, and Learning at Beyond Borders, and Smith Maxime, Co-Executive Director at Beyond Borders. It has been a pleasure chatting with you, and I can see a webinar where we have this type of exchange, not only survivors in Haiti and survivors across the region, but even in terms of the totality of the work of Beyond Borders, those unique areas that we mentioned, which can actually become a catalyst for other civil society organizations across the region and even governmental agencies to learn from what is being done there, even at grassroots level, and see how to incorporate those things into their national action plans. So I look forward to that, and we will make that happen before the end of 2026. Yeah.
Pleasure,
Thank
Adrian. Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone. So those of you who are tuning in, this has been Beyond Borders, one of the member organizations of the Caribbean Coalition Against Trafficking in Persons. My guest today was Smith Maxime, Co-Executive Director of Beyond Borders, and Yoosely Leconte, Head of MEAL at Beyond Borders. Tune in for other of our member spotlight episodes using this particular podcast playlist, as well as others in our Caribbean Connections playlist. Until next time, I'm Adrian Alexander. Bye-bye now.